downtown Minneapolis. Fans filing in, feels like summer out there, and their Wolves are still playing ball. You're watching the second round, presented by Wingstop. A whiteout inside target center. They are ready to roll. It's game 5. The Golden State Warriors on the brink of elimination against the Minnesota Timberwolves as we check the starting fives. Trayce Jackson-Davis back in there to be the third straight game for the Warriors with this five. Same starting five for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm Brian Anderson with Stan Van Gundy. And Stan, no Stephen Curry tonight. Haven't ruled him out for game 6 though.
No, and that makes him the most important person in the building tonight, Brian, because the Warriors know if they can pull one out tonight, they go home for game 6 with Steph Curry very likely playing, and the Timberwolves want to get this thing closed out and not get one of the best clutch players in the history of the league a chance to beat him.
Lauren Jabbar is going to have more on Stephen Curry as we continue on tonight. Arriving at our first closeout game as Buddy Hield gets up the first shot. Gobert there to clean it up. You can feel it in the building. This crowd is energized. They have not had a closeout game in this building since 2004 as Rudy Gobert opens up the scoring.
Well, that's a heck of a pass out of the blitz by Anthony Edwards, and a nice catch and finish by Rudy Gobert, who really hasn't been involved much offensively.
Jimmy Butler gives it up. Podziemski fires up a three and buries a three. And the Warriors are going to need a lot more of that from guys like Podziemski and Hield. And it is no coincidence that Hield and Podziemski get up the first two shots here tonight.
Not at all. They need Hield to keep it going from three, and then they need somebody else, whether it's Podziemski, Payton, Moody, somebody who shot the ball earlier very well in the playoffs to get going. Podziemski now only 4 for 18 from three in this series without Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler's got to be great. They need Kuminga to keep scoring, but some other guys are going to have to step up offensively, and this defense, which is capable of doing it, has to be absolutely great.
Here's Anthony Edwards coming off a 30-point game in game 4. Made 6 threes in that game. Sets up Randall, who went for 31 in game 4. And that dynamic duo, they have found their footing after a rough start in game 1. Remember, that was after 5 days off. And they have won the last 3 to put the Warriors on the break. And Edwards with the block. Randall taking on 2 Warriors and lost the handle. Right to Podziemski, ill-advised from Julius Randle.
Yeah, and a great effort by Draymond Green to get on the floor.
Part of the story here with this series, they've played every other day through these first 5 games as Trayce Jackson-Davis on the cleanup on the miss by Podziemski. Coach is going to be 3 days off before game 6. So the Curry story is an even bigger one, knowing that he's got 4 more days for recovery with the 3 days off after this one. They don't play again until Sunday.
Right, because they've got the Valkyries, the WNBA expansion team, opening their season on Friday, so they can't play there. There's no NBA games on Saturday, and that pushes game 6 to Sunday, which is a great benefit for the Warriors if, and a big if they can get past this Minnesota team tonight on the road.
Mike Conley hits a corner 3. This crowd erupting with every moment. Chris Finch talked to us about his team needing to come out with force. They have not been as good at home as he would like, as Buddy Hield gets a mid-range jumper to go. Chris Finch says we need better execution, production to start the game to get this crowd immediately into it. Wolves finished 6th in the West. Warriors ended up with a 7 seed. Minnesota had a great run at the end of the year. They have won 13 of 16 games. And since March 1st, they really turned the corner and got themselves out of the play-in and into the playoffs. Took down the Lakers in 5, and they've got a chance to take out the Warriors in 5 with a victory tonight. Anthony Edwards finds Conley again. The lefty fires, no good. And Gobert right off of Green, who secured it. That was a nice play by Green. Jimmy Butler gets the boos every time he touches the ball. A former Minnesota Timberwolves who forced his way out of here a number of years ago. Easy call and going the other way.
Well, they're lucky they just got an out-of-bounds call. That could have been a foul on Butler. Good call, though, by the referees.
John Goble, James Williams, Sean Wright are three officials. Justin Van Dyne is the alternate. Kane Fitzgerald and James Caters back in Secaucus at the NBA Replay Center. Julius Randle, he has had a terrific postseason stand. He has answered a lot of questions about his postseason performances.
Well, yeah, he had this stigma coming out of New York that he was a great regular season guy and couldn't get it done in the playoffs. And we're going to get a challenge here from Minnesota on the out of bounds. Minnesota goes to the break, up 3, 10-7. And I think they're going to win that challenge.
Early challenge, timeout on the floor. Chris Finch and the Minnesota Timberwolves. It'll be Wolves ball. 10-7, Minnesota has the lead. And Lauren Jabara is with us. And Lauren, the Stephen Curry story is a big one. Could be back for Game 6.
He could be. It's been 8 days since he had that grade 1 left hamstring strain, and since then has been doing 8 hours of rehab a day. I caught up with Warriors VP of Player Health and Performance, Rick Celebrini, about Steph's recovery. He called his approach comprehensive and detailed, said Steph attacks rehab like he does everything else, all in. Early on, it was mostly treatment. Now he's progressed to some on-court basketball activity like stationary shooting. Celebrini emphasized, though, they're accelerating when they can, but not skipping any stages of healing. He said, given the nature of the injury and where we are in the timeline, though, we couldn't ask for a better scenario. Steph will be reevaluated, guys, on Saturday, and Hope City could be on the floor for Game 6. Steve Kerr's optimistic.
Thank you, Lauren. Good stuff there. Good thorough report on all the things that are going into this stand. And, of course, Minnesota wants no part of that. They want to eliminate the Warriors right now. It would buy them some time off before the Western Conference Finals as McDaniels goes strong to the basket. So Stephen Curry, again, it's not something you can just deal with the pain and play through. It is a hamstring injury. Draymond Green with a nice finish. These are not things that you can just get back on the floor because it doesn't stay. It gets worse or it gets better. The only way it gets better by sitting. This was from Game 1 when Stephen Curry had to come out.
Yeah, there's no question. Look, Steph Curry would be out there if he could be out there. And against the Warriors zone right there, a great screen by Rudy Gobert. That's how the Timberwolves have tried to attack this zone. Screening up top on the guards. Gets Anthony Edwards the room to knock down that 3.
Kajemski, nice pass with his offhand. And Butler's going to draw the contact. Free throws coming in. Substitutions off that Minnesota bench as well. And a chance to remind you the NBA on TNT is brought to you by the Kia Telluride X-Line. Kia, the official automotive partner of the NBA. The game totally changes without Stephen Curry. But let's not discount who the Minnesota Timberwolves are and what they've been through this playoff run.
Well, there's no question, and even before that, they got Julius Randle back at the 1st of March. They went 17-4 the rest of the way, and now they're 7-2 in the playoffs. Look, this team has been really, really good. They've found their offensive rhythm. They've been good defensively all year. They're in a solid 8-man rotation. Chris Finch has done a masterful job. This is a very good team. And yes, is it easier without Steph Curry? Of course. But this team was going to be very tough to deal with regardless.
Credit to Tim Connolly as well, now in his 3rd year, heading up the basketball operations with the Wolves. He was the man who built the Denver Nuggets, spent 10 years there. And pretty much that roster he built in Denver went on to win the championship in 2023. They've got a good thing going here. They have one of the game's greatest stars in Anthony Edwards, and all of their pieces fit well. They had a great surge at the end of the year to get themselves out of the play-in. And while there may be a 6 by their name, they do not play nor look like a 6 seed in an NBA playoff scenario.
No, as a matter of fact, Brian, since the start of March, the only team in the NBA with a better record and with a better net rating are the Oklahoma City Thunder. This has been the second best team in the NBA for 2.5 months now.
See with a wave of substitutions after that made free throw by Naz Reid. Gary Payton is in, Jimmy Butler is out, and Naz Reid hits them both. Minnesota up 6 halfway through the first quarter in the first closeout opportunity of this series. Minnesota leads 3-1 in this best of 7. Podziemski gets Reid on his back, gets his own rebound, and now Buddy Hield trying to shake DiVincenzo, cannot. Podziemski open, and he hits another one, his second made 3.
Well, Podziemski's a pretty good three-point shooter. 38% on the year, has been struggling in the postseason. It's good to see him get it going. Turnover by the Timberwolves there on a travel. The Warriors get it back.
Third turnover as Randall travels with it. Here's Kuminga, first minutes on the floor and denied. It was DiVincenzo and Edwards. And now the Ant-Man wants to push. Warriors get back well. Randall with Podziemski on him and Green lurking. Now Reid drives. Reid leaves it up top and a throwdown. Jaden McDaniels flying high for the lob. This kid is spring-loaded right here. Jaden McDaniels, fifth-year pro out of Washington. He's only 24 years of age. He is electric and a lockdown defender. DiVincenzo cuts the lane, forces a turnover. Edwards gives it right back to McDaniels. McDaniels missed it. Kuminga with the rebound.
Well, and that's a good sign right there. Kuminga didn't have a rebound in game 4.
Kuminga running the floor, dunks it down. Steve Kerr said to us in our meeting, between the 4 of us, me, Stan, Steve, and Lauren, as many rebounds as Jonathan Kuminga. They need more. Ball's loose and Hield with the foul. So McDaniels at 6'9" with serious bounce. And he gives you some great highlights, doesn't he, Coach?
He certainly does, as well as his offensive end. And this guy can give you highlights too. Jonathan Kuminga, very quick off his feet. Steve Kerr inserting right now, early in the game here, Guy Santos, who's had some good moments in the postseason, but has not been in the rotation in this series.
Naz Reid, nice little turnaround jump hook in the lane. Known as a three-point threat. He's got some sauce in the paint as well. Kuminga goes with a left hand. That was brilliant. We asked Steve Kerr why not start Kuminga, and he said we want to buy him a little time. Started Trace Jackson Davis. Gobert, tough finish. They're playing fast, up and down the floor they go.
Well, both teams want to push it. Game 4 was the fastest paced game of the series up to that point, and they're playing even faster tonight.
Jonathan Kuminga hits a 3. He has come off that bench, blistering hot right now. Both sides of the ball.
Well, the last 3 games, he's averaged almost 24 points a game.
He's got a quick 7 in his first 4 minutes. Edwards with a flyby, gives it right back. Alexander Walker, around the horn it goes. Naz Reid resets it for a 3, no good. And Santos and Gobert take a spill together. And Santos will be called for the foul.
Well, this one's pretty obvious. Guy Santos just hanging on for dear life. But that's a good foul. That's smart right there. Don't give Rudy Gobert a chance to get the ball right there at the front of the rim where he's just going to dunk it. Excellent play by Guy Santos. And look, Guy Santos is not going to play enough minutes that he has to worry about foul trouble.
The Warriors bigs want to make Gobert feel him here tonight. DiVincenzo, he has really slumped in this playoff run. He's shooting just 23% from three-point range. He lit it up for the Knicks from beyond the arc last year. Santos drives, fires one to Butler. Ball's moving well. Unwilling to take a shot. Santos is not. And he comes up short. Naz Reid with the board.
I think Jimmy Butler needs to look to score when he got that ball in the corner. Jimmy's open the last game and then again tonight, just wanting to be a facilitator. I don't think they have enough scoring for him to do that.
Gobert springs free inside. Timeout Warriors. Minnesota by 4 as Gobert gets them on their feet at Target Center. You're watching the 2025 NBA playoffs presented by Google.
Well, Jonathan Kuminga's come off the bench for 7 points in just over 5 minutes, fighting hard to keep this Warrior offense going and to keep them in the game with a chance to send it back to San Francisco.
Jonathan Kuminga, he scored the last 7 for the Golden State Warriors, and I think the stat Steve Kerr would be most happy with is the fact he got a rebound. Got the donut off the board. Jimmy Butler back on the floor. Butler with Santos and Hield, Looney, and Kuminga, the 5 on the floor. Steve Kerr continues to doctor his rotations. Kuminga taking on Naz Reid. Little stop, comes up short. Gobert with a rebound. Minnesota by 4, under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. DiVincenzo looking up for Gobert. Great action from the Wolves right there. Gobert's in the middle of it all right now, both sides of the ball. Kuminga drives and scores a tough layup with the left hand.
Well, he's just going at Naz Reid. Very explosive and able to finish with either hand.
It's a pretty tight 8-man rotation for Chris Finch. He's got an excellent bench. And Alexander Walker and DiVincenzo and Naz Reid. Here's Edwards trying to get loose. Edwards comes up short. Anthony Edwards knocked down the 1 3-pointer. That's been his only made bucket. Butler turned away by DiVincenzo. Wants it back. DiVincenzo just hounding him, and it's the last touch by Butler. It's a Golden State turnover. How you can affect the game even when you're in a shooting slump. DiVincenzo doing it.
Absolutely right. 3 assists already, plus a great.
Edwards dancing with Guy Santos. Gives it up. DiVincenzo. Cash. Needed to see one go. He's got a pure stroke. You figure his time's coming. Edwards with the steal. On the run out. Edwards throws it down into second gear and misses the layup.
Well, he has missed a lot of layups in this series. We've seen it much more so than you normally see out of him.
Hield sets up for 3. Back iron. Naz Reid the rebound. Furious pace going here. Wolves have 30 on the board. They lead by 7 with the ball. Shot clock is off. Edwards gonna go into ball control mode here and get the last one. Minnesota doing exactly what they wanted in the first quarter. As Edwards turns it over, and that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Minnesota in a closeout opportunity, up 3-1 in this best of 7 with a trip to the Western Conference Finals on the line. This is the second round presented by Wingstop. Playoffs gear. Choose from jerseys, t-shirts, hats, and more. NBAstore.com, a Fanatics experience. Moment ago, Lauren Jabara with Jonathan Kuminga.
Jonathan, they finished with a little bit of a push there, but Draymond said this game is going to come down to winning in the margins, having those hustle plays. How do you set the tone here now, the second quarter?
Just taking care of the ball, getting out in transition, getting a couple of stops, just being solid on defense.
For you, 9 points in 8 minutes so far. What level are you on? How do you continue that?
I just want to come out here and win. I think that's my main focus. And help our guys win the same way to helping everybody win. I think that's my focus.
Jonathan, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just 22 years of age from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Central Africa. He is a free agent at season's end as Jimmy Butler scores one with contact and a chance at a three-point play for Butler here.
And they need a lot more of that, Brian. I think in the first quarter, the problem were turnovers, and they need this from Jimmy Butler. They don't have enough scoring for Jimmy Butler to simply be a distributor. Doesn't mean he needs to force shots, but he's got to be aggressive, and if they don't draw the second defender, he's got to score. And the Warriors back in that zone again, as they usually are, coming out of timeouts or after free throws.
That's Spencer, Quentin Post on the floor for Golden State. Here's Alexander Walker, drives it, and that was Butler who forced the turnover. Pat Spencer at the controls, sets up Buddy Hield, three-pointer, no good. Butler, the offensive rebound. Butler taking on three Wolves, finds Post, he's a big man who can shoot. And Spencer, contact with DiVincenzo, picks up the foul, got him in the face.
Well, one of the ways the Warriors are hanging in right here is they have 4 offensive rebounds to 0 from the Timberwolves, and that's helped them overcome their 5 turnovers. Clearly a foul here, but great effort by Spencer. Jimmy Butler has really been active on the offensive glass in this series.
Naz Reid gets Draymond Green down low. Wow, threw some moves at him. Naz Reid able to lay it in. Minnesota back up 6. Alexander Walker picks up Spencer. There's DiVincenzo again. Lazy pass. Turnover. Dunk. The big Ragu. Got him on their feet. Spencer backing down Alexander Walker. Tough finish inside. That's a matchup the Warriors want.
Well, Alexander Walker is actually a great individual defender, but Pat Spencer there just using his strength. A very, very strong guy.
And Alexander Walker, no good. Reid there, offensive rebound. First offensive rebound for Minnesota, and ends up throwing it away.
Well, and that's the 6th turnover for Minnesota. They've had 21 in each of the last 2 games.
That'll be Warriors ball. Unnecessary pass from Spencer.
And then he almost threw this last one away. Great finish by DiVincenzo. His 2nd steal of the night. He's already got 3 assists and 5 points. But Steve Kerr admonishing Pat Spencer there. He's got to be much better with the ball.
Kuminga taking on Alexander Walker. Again, they target him. Find Spencer in the corner. Julius Randle. Now the switch. Buddy Hield ends up on Randle. They clear out some space for him. Randle goes to his right hand and finishes.
He just dropped that shoulder. It was just way too strong for Buddy Hield there.
It's like a battering ram. Knocked Buddy Hield right out of the play. Again, they attack Alexander Walker, and Butler is fouled on his way in. 3 straight possessions the Warriors have gone at Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
And that's how you use your strength. You don't extend that forearm and push off. The referees see that it's a foul. You just go strong, that shoulder down.
Randall's been terrific. Scoring over 23 points per game in the playoffs. Much different story than his numbers from his years with the Knicks. And Lauren Jabbar, I know you had a chance to visit with Julius Randle before the game.
Yeah, I did, and he just talked about his resilience this season and how after he came back from that injury during All-Star break, he's really felt like the team is gelled together. He's like getting injured right before All-Star break. He just wanted to focus on coming back and doing whatever he can do to help his team. He said we needed to stay disciplined, stick to our game plan, and for me, it's all about leading with energy and effort every single night. Dante DiVincenzo also told me he doesn't need the spotlight. He hears the criticism, but doesn't let that affect him. He's been playing very smart, beautiful basketball for us and leading us with his veteran leadership.
Yeah, look, and the T-Wolves have been, counting the playoffs, 24-6 since he came back in March. He's been the key to them getting things turned around as Alexander Walker hits a little runner in the paint.
Julius Randle scoring is up 6 points on average from his time with the Knicks. This is his 10th playoff game with Minnesota. Had 15 playoff games as a Knick. Buddy Hield drives and is fouled by DiVincenzo.
That's a great cut by Buddy Hield against the DiVincenzo denial, and an outstanding pass from Quentin Post. Big guys who can shoot and pass are coveted in today's NBA.
Third team foul already for Minnesota. And Hield knocks down the first one. Gives us a chance to remind you that the NBA on TNT is brought to you by Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. Stan chooses chill every hour of the day, except when you put the headset on and you're all business.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Got your deli order in today. Everything's right in the world.
No question. Got that sandwich waiting for me after the game tonight.
No T-bones for Stan Van. Three-pointer, no good. There's Green with the rebound. Buddy Hield pushing it here and turns it over.
That's already Buddy Hield's third turnover of the night. The Warriors 7.
Wolves give it right back. Alexander Walker got a deflection, and it'll be Golden State ball.
Neither team really valuing possessions right now. Not valuing the ball, I would say. Each team with 7 turnovers, and that ball is just flying around right now.
Well, the last 5 minutes of the first quarter, we saw 6 turnovers, 4 by Golden State, 2 by the Wolves. First 7 minutes or so was pretty clean. It's turned a little bit.
Well, here's the thing, though. Minnesota, because they've got 2 stars healthy, they've got a little bit of margin for error. The Warriors don't. The Warriors need to win the possession battle, keep their turnovers down, stay on the boards at both ends to have a chance to win this game.
That air ball three-pointer by Kuminga means the Warriors have missed their last 7 threes after they hit 3 of their first 5. They got 3-point makes from Podziemski, who hit 2, and then Kuminga. 7-point game, Minnesota in front, trying to put the Warriors away and advance to their 2nd consecutive Western Conference Finals. Podziemski takes a peek, 2 to shoot, got a foul, and the lefty Podziemski, the second-year player, will go to the free throw line.
Just a great way to draw fouls there from anybody. Drive the ball hard, go to your step back, and then shot fake, and you get the guy moving forward to try to close down the space. You're able to draw the foul. To have that in their game.
That shiner under the right eye of Podziemski that he got from a Gobert elbow in game 1. First one's good. A reminder, you can watch hit shows like Up and Adams with Kay Adams, Run It Back featuring Lou Will, Chandler Parsons, and Michelle Beadle. It's on FanDuel TV, and it's free on all your favorite devices.
Now they call Podziemski for being in early on the free throw. That's a foul. That's a violation the Cleveland Cavaliers wish they would have called twice at the end of the game they lost on Halliburton's 3, where he was the shooter in early.
Congratulations to the Pacers, first team to advance to the conference finals. Punch their ticket. Naz Reid with Hield on him. Extra pass over to Randall. And a bouncing rebound to Mike Conley. Randall tees another one up. Short. Kuminga thought about it. And now he draws a double team. Jimmy Butler rises up. Hits a nice mid-range jumper.
Okay, Jimmy Butler's going to get aggressive offensively. The Warriors have a lot better chance to win this game.
Coach, he played 34 minutes in game 4, just 14 points. He looked like he was a bit out of it. As Anthony Edwards cashes in a 3. After the game in game 4, it was revealed that Butler was playing with a pretty bad illness. They were surprised he was able to play as much as he did. Podziemski's first miss, but Naz Reid puts it in. He was trying to push that rebound to a teammate, and it goes in, and I think they'll probably have to give that to Green. Draymond Green scored with a basket. Easiest basket he's ever had.
Yeah, one he didn't have to do anything to get.
McDaniels turns the corner. Kuminga's right there. And McDaniels up and over. No good.
Well, Kuminga's a pretty good individual defender. His problems have come off the ball on help, rotation, things like that.
Podziemski passed up a couple of three opportunities. And now Kuminga going one-on-one with Randall. Elevates and misses. He was in rhythm, though. And Hield picks Edwards' pocket. Buddy Hield on the breakaway. And here come the Warriors. So Minnesota sloppy with the ball. Golden State has cut it to 3. 5:56 remaining in the second quarter. It's a 9-3 Golden State run. Minnesota on the verge of their second consecutive Western Conference Finals. They went to 8 straight in the Flip Saunders, Kevin Garnett years. Only one of those ended up in a Western Conference Final. Had just the one playoff appearance under Tom Thibodeau. Jimmy Butler was part of that team in 2018. And then the Chris Finch era. And Stan, this is truly the golden era of Minnesota Timberwolves basketball. They have won 6 playoff series with a win today. It'll be 4 in the last 2 years. 4th consecutive playoffs, and for a guy that has gone the long and winding road to get to that seat.
Yeah, you gotta love it. 17 years overseas, then he's a G League head coach, a longtime NBA assistant, and now everyone is seeing his work with the Wolves, that he's one of the best and certainly most adaptable coaches in the NBA.
From Franklin and Marshall College, as an assistant with Kevin McHale, among others. And still very close with Kevin McHale as Looney gets the offensive rebound, and Kuminga goes up the elevator shaft. Wow.
Wow, we had a great finish at one end by Julius Randle, and then explosive by Kuminga on that one.
Conley turns the corner, Podziemski on his back. That little floater is good. Year number 18 for Mike Conley at 37 years of age. Now in his 3rd year in Minnesota.
It's only his 3rd made 2 of the series. It's 3 for 13. He's had trouble finishing in there.
Butler left open, misses a 3, and run down by Edwards. Minnesota's lead is 5. Warriors have hardly led. Their only lead was by 1 early. And here goes McDaniels. Taking on Santos. No good. Santos, a big body Steve Kerr is thrown into the rotation tonight.
Yeah, he's getting significant minutes here. But look, 13 guys on this roster have gotten meaningful minutes in this playoff run for the Warriors.
Podziemski misses a mid-range jumper, and that's going to be Warriors ball. Unforced error by Minnesota here between McDaniel. A little miscommunication. Stepped on the line and didn't reset before he touched the ball, McDaniels.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of crazy there. That's their 9th turnover already. They just need to be more solid than what they have been, even though they've gotten away with some wins.
Podziemski with that little floater with the left hand. Minnesota 5 turnovers this quarter, and the Warriors add 2 more points. 3-point game. Edwards probing. And now Randall finds Conley. Edwards open for 3. No, gives it up. Butler closed. And Conley hits another one right at the end of the shot clock.
That was a good defensive possession by the Warriors, but Conley makes a big one.
Second made 3 for Mike Conley. Butler, the mismatch with Conley, gives it up. Podziemski for 3. And Podziemski missed it. Edwards out of the pack. Approaching the 3-minute mark. Edwards drives on Kuminga. Conley set up again. He's feeling it right now. Mike Conley delivering 3 big 3-pointers.
Well, the old vet knocking him down. He's got 8 consecutive points. Wolves take a 9-point lead into the timeout.
Take care of the ball a little bit better. Hey, we got to execute. I know we're cross-matching, they're pushing. Hey, we got to try to get into the bodies a little bit more in the half court. We're too far off. They're running around too easily. Hey, we got to be cleaner and simpler. We know they're handsy. We know they're crowding us.
Chris Finch, his words for his Minnesota Timberwolves team. Hard to believe that wasn't that long ago, 15 years or so, where he was coaching in Sheffield, England, washing uniforms and towels after the game, just to have an opportunity to be the head coach. He had one staff member he could hire. A two-man show. And here he is, chance to go back to the Western Conference Finals in back-to-back years. Draymond Green with a nice finish, put a little spin on it, just as Minnesota had matched their largest lead.
Well, I loved it, Chris Finch's message, cleaner and simpler. I mean, we get so used to seeing all the spectacular plays in the NBA, but a lot of it comes down to the basics, the fundamentals.
It was the cleaner and simpler role that reminded me about his uniform washing days in England. As Draymond Green rattles home a three-pointer.
Back-to-back assists from Podziemski to Draymond Green. I would say that hasn't been one of the more frequent combinations in the league.
There goes McDaniels with the left-handed finger roll. So skilled. Is emerging as a real force for the Wolves. They've got big names on their roster already. He's turning into one of them, McDaniels. Green, another three-pointer. No good. Conley the rebound. Conley's been a presence in this second quarter. Randall backing down Podziemski. Now draws a double and Hield with the foul coming in. Or they call that on Podziemski.
Daniels on the drive. He's really improved his offensive game since he came into the league. I mean, Julius Randle just playing some bully ball and draws the foul down there.
And it was on Podziemski.
It's his second.
Minute 37 remaining. First of the last 2 minutes, made it side out. Next to him put Minnesota to the line. Edwards gets the switch, now the double. And Randall for three, late clock, and he buries it. Julius Randle shooting at 35% from three-point range. He's got his second of the night.
You just look at the numbers, the biggest difference in the game. Each team's taken 18 threes. Minnesota's made 8. Golden State only 4.
Wild shot by Green. There goes Conley. Conley looking for Gobert. Gobert inside, and he's fouled by Kuminga.
Julius Randle, a deep three right here. Leading scorer in the game with 12. He's also got 4 assists.
Former most improved player in the NBA. That was 4 years ago, 2021. He missed some time with that adductor injury, did Randall. Once he came back, he missed all of February. Once he came back in March, the Wolves took off. More NBA playoff action tomorrow. Thunder and Nuggets match up for Game 6 back in Denver. That's 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. Saturday, WNBA tips off. It's the Aces and the Liberty. 1 o'clock on ESPN, and then at 3 Eastern, it is the Sky and the Fever. Gobert, 1 out of 2 at the line. Gobert made all 4 of his free throws in Game 4. Minnesota by 12. Matching their biggest lead of the game. Butler hearing it from the Minnesota fans. Here's Green in the corner. Green, no good. McDaniels up ahead. Randall running the floor. Randall taking on all comers. Here it goes! And one!
That's a great pass on the run out by McDaniels, but this is really poor defensive balance by Golden State, and they cannot afford these mistakes. They just don't have the margin for error. And Randall going through the contact. He's now got 14 points, 9 in the quarter.
Number 30, turned 30 this year. And a major part of the success story of the Wolves. Knocks in the free throw, 62-47. 15 now for Randall, 10 in the second quarter. And the 15-point lead is the biggest of the game for Minnesota. Jimmy Butler with 4 to shoot, rises up over Gobert, no good. Edwards got time here to get one off. Back to 2 to 1, Edwards gives it up, McDaniels beats the clock, and he missed it long. The Wolves close the quarter on a 17-5 run to take a 15-point lead. No Stephen Curry. Minnesota wants to send Curry and the Warriors to the off-season. They are 24 minutes away from a second consecutive trip to the conference finals. You're watching the second round, presented by Wingstop. It's a beautiful night here. Minnesota Twins have won 10 in a row. Minnesota Timberwolves trying to punch their ticket to their second consecutive Western Conference Finals. And they're up 15. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson with Coach Stan Van Gundy. We'll hear from Lauren in just a moment. Chris Finch told us before the game, Coach, we need to come out with force. They did that, and then they really closed that second quarter in a big way.
That's exactly right. I mean, a great run at the end. And when they take care of the ball, their offense has been very efficient. They're shooting 61%.
Well, let's take a look at our Google search trends. Stan's been Googling all during the halftime break here. Julius Randle playoff stats is a breakout search in the U.S. He was brilliant.
Hey, he certainly has been, and he's been doing it all. He's hitting threes. He's driving the ball to the basket. He's playing bully ball. And he's also got 4 assists to go with those 15 points. This guy's performance so far in the playoffs has been outstanding, and it should put to rest all the doubts about Julius Randle as a playoff performer.
Well, Lauren Jabara, Steve Kerr has been a big game coach for a long, long time. You had a chance to visit with him at the half.
He has been. The Timberwolves ended that half on a 17-5 run. He said, we have to stay in front of the ball. They're breaking us down. They have 20 assists, but a lot of that starts because we aren't staying in front. We have to think about that. Keep the ball, keep the man in front of us. I said, Steve, what's your message to the team at half? He said, first 5 minutes, we have to set a tone.
Great call. Thank you, Lauren. Good stuff. Thanks to Steve Kerr. Third foul on Buddy Hield.
And again, I mean, Steve Kerr talks about staying in front of the ball, and right off the bat, Buddy Hield, he got the foul. If he hadn't fouled, it would have been Anthony Edwards to the rim.
Randall, that extra pass in the corner to McDaniels. And it's Podziemski with a rebound. Here comes Hield now. Hield, Podziemski, Butler, Green, and Jackson Davis. Same 5 on the floor that started the game tonight. This has been the starting lineup for Golden State for the last 3 games. Stephen Curry injured in game 1, hamstring injury. And the Wolves have not lost since. Podziemski running the floor, lays it in. Buddy Hield set him up.
Well, you can see the Warriors plan. They're going to be very aggressive. Not only do they blitz Anthony Edwards, they blitzed Mike Conley on the last one and force him into their 11th turnover. They've got to be able to get their defense going and score off of it.
Steve Kerr talks to Lauren about the first 5 minutes. I'm sure Chris Finch had a similar message. This is an opportunity for Minnesota to wrap up a series in 5 games and not even give the Warriors a chance to get Curry back on the floor. But Podziemski hits his 3rd 3 of the night.
Already his best game of this series.
Pajinski coming off just 11 points on 0 for 4 shooting from three-point range in game 4. Conley's had the hot hand, and he stays that way.
Well, the Warriors trapped even on the guard-to-guard screen there. Conley just able to flare back and knock it down. His 4th 3 of the game.
Unexpected offense from Mike Conley.
That's what the Warriors are going to need, is some unexpected offense.
Butler, series of fakes, takes a tough shot, missed it. Gobert clears the rebound. Up ahead, Randall. Randall's been running the floor. Ball's moving now. Edwards steps into a 3. Cash! The lead is 18. And those first 5 minutes not going as planned for Steve Kerr. Pajinski tries to leave it for Jackson Davis. That'll be Warriors ball.
Here's the trap on Anthony Edwards, and he gets it to Conley, who knocks it down. And then Anthony Edwards trailing on the break. Conley says, "I'll repay you." Gives it back to him for the 3.
10 made threes for Minnesota as Edwards fouls Pajinski. And he's going to be side out. James Williams said not on the shot. Pajinski thought it was. And here comes Kuminga. So Steve Kerr, an early move here. Kuminga for Jackson Davis. Kuminga was their best offensive weapon in that first half. He scored 11 points in 16 minutes. Draymond Green up top for Butler. Well-executed play that time. Off the side, out of bounds.
Yeah, Chris Finch not happy with that at all defensively. Breakdown in communication on how they wanted to handle that flex screen.
Wolves took out the Lakers in 5 as Edwards mistimed his jump. Conley throws it away.
Well, yeah, the Warriors are going to need that. I mean, they almost need the Timberwolves to shoot themselves in the foot and turn the ball over. And right now, the Timberwolves seem willing to oblige.
Buddy Hield, no good. Gobert knocks it out of bounds. That was the case in game 1. Minnesota could not buy a basket. Again, because they dispatched the Lakers in 5, they had 5 days off between game 5 of round 1 and game 1 of this series, and it showed. They missed their first 16 three-point tries. Butler gives it right back. Minnesota closing well. Shot clock down to 1. Buddy Hield gets around Randall, did hit the rim, and Gobert secures and a foul. And if that's on Hield, that's number 4.
I'm not sure Buddy Hield fouled him at all. I'm a little bit surprised we didn't get a challenge yet. Because even if they ended up calling it on Pajinski, it would get Buddy Hield out of having his 4th foul.
Wolves ball. Leading by 16 out game. Edwards loose with the ball, but secures it. McDaniels packs one down.
That is Edwards' 8th assist of the night. Here it is. Penetration draws the help. Just finds McDaniels, who fires it down.
By Corona. You know Anthony Edwards enjoys that limelight. How about this, Stan? So to get to 1,000 career postseason points, age 23 or younger, he is on a very impressive list here. But look at the games played. Much fewer games played than Kobe, Tony Parker, or Jason Tatum. Tied with LeBron and KD. And Anthony Edwards, he has had trouble in the first halves, has not been a factor in the second half. His numbers are drastically different from one half to another, and he's off to a good start.
Yeah, over 12 points a game different between the first half and the second half as the Warriors come out and turn it over. Oh.
I think they're saying a deflection by McDaniels.
Okay.
And now Green for 3, and no good. Gobert clears it away. Those are those numbers you're talking about, Coach.
Listen, almost 20 points a game in the second half, though, on 64% shooting. And he's 1 away from his playoff career high of 9 assists, but that's also his 4th turnover of the night.
Kuminga, and it's knocked out of his hands by Conley.
13 turnovers from Minnesota.
Jimmy Butler draws the contact, will go to the line. It is the only reason the Warriors are remotely in this, and they're down 18. And without the firepower of that guy, the all-time three-point king, Stephen Curry injured that left hammy in game 1. Not rule him out for game 6. But Minnesota trying to make sure they don't see him until next season. Take a look at our FanDuel live point spread for tonight's game. Wolves a heavy favorite to start the day, and have only increased that number. Jimmy Butler hits them both.
Well, the first thing you've got to do if you're the Warriors now is you're going to have to string together some stops. Minnesota, pretty simple. Take care of the ball. It's going to be hard for this Warriors team to come back.
Draymond Green fouls Randall on the take. Randall has really changed the narrative of his postseason performances in the past. And he told Chris Finch before these playoffs started, he goes, I want to change that story. I want to change that scouting report. I don't want to wear that for another playoffs. I'm ready. And he came back healthy from that adductor injury. They've been a different team. Nice move by DiVincenzo. Wow. Looking to pass. He ended up scoring.
Great footwork in the paint. That's something that comes from Villanova. Something that Jay Wright worked on very hard with his guys in college, was to be able to play off at 2 feet in the paint, shot fakes, pivots. So while we don't see a lot of it in the NBA, he's drilled on this a lot.
Lauren Jabbar, he said that was for Pope Leo, a Villanova man.
I talked to him earlier. Now the Timberwolves and the Knicks both have a shot at the conference finals. I asked, how often do you talk to your old Knicks/Villanova teammates? He said literally every day. But he told me from a basketball team and basketball standpoint, it's been really cool to see a trade that ended up with a true win-win situation. Both teams are thriving, and it reinforces that it worked out in the right way. He said, we still got big goals ahead, but it's a good feeling knowing that move paid off for everybody involved.
Yeah, look, it played off for both teams. It paid off for both Randall and Karl Anthony Towns. You don't see that often, but Dante DiVincenzo's right. That was a win-win trade, and Podziemski knocks down another one.
Podziemski's got 16. He's buried 3 threes, having his best game of the series. Where is the scoring going to come from outside of Butler? That's a major question for Golden State. Minnesota up 15. That was their halftime lead. And now Edwards looking for Gobert. Gobert, mismatch inside, missed it. Randall's got an offensive board. Randall just keeping the ball here. Randall travels.
He travels. That's his 4th turnover of the night, and the Timberwolves' 14th turnover. The only thing really that is keeping Golden State remotely close.
4th turnover of the quarter for Minnesota. Here's Butler. Gives it up, and a mid-range jump shot, almost an air ball, just grazed the rim. They didn't reset the shot clock. They should have. Podziemski lets it fly and hits another one. It works out. That was a mistake by the officials, but Podziemski, undeterred, knocks down his 4th three-pointer. He's got 10 in the quarter stand.
Yeah, and they've got it back to 12. They're not going away.
DiVincenzo gets by Podziemski. Podziemski goes right back at Randall. Shot fake. Kuminga, 3-pointer flies. Offensive rebound, Hield. And McDaniels with those long arms, able to get the deflection. And it's going to be a foul on Draymond Green. When you think you got a lane, you don't with McDaniels.
McDaniels goes under that screen. He gets a lot of time, but then defensively just does not stay in front of the ball at all. Draymond Green there with the foul up. Buddy Hield's 4th turnover for the night. Buddy Hield having a rough night. 2 for 9, 0 for 4 from 3. Does have 4 rebounds, but 4 fouls and 4 turnovers.
Hield had that terrific 2-game window. Game 7 against Houston, 33 points. He made 9 3-pointers in that game, tied a playoff record with Dante DiVincenzo. And then Hield backed it up with 24 points in game 1 of this series and made 5 threes. Gobert gets it inside, no contest. Rudy Gobert camping down in the lane. Steve Kerr wants the timeout.
This was Golden State zone. And Draymond Green had to go to the corner, which leaves Gobert against guards down low. Minnesota by 16.
'25 NBA playoffs presented by Google. Let's shine up Tim Connolly here, head of the Minnesota Timberwolves basketball operations coach. This is one of the great executives in the game, and he and Chris Finch, a formidable duo there at the top of their organization.
Oh, you aren't kidding. And look, he's the one who built the championship team in Denver, that 2023 run, even though he was here by the time it happened. He's the one who put that roster together. And then he came right here and has them now go ready, right on the precipice of going to the conference finals for the 2nd straight year as Anthony Edwards ties his career playoff high with 9 assists.
18-point Minnesota lead. 4.5 to go, 3rd quarter. Minnesota just too tough right now. Pajemski's been most of the offense. Santos secures that air ball. And in the corner, that is Kuminga. No good. Gobert with a rebound. Here comes DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo had his pocket picked by Gary Payton II. And we got a whistle. James Williams calling a take foul.
Yeah, that's just not a smart foul. Look, you're up 18 points. You don't give them extra opportunities, and you don't stop the clock.
Steve Kerr, an emphatic conversation with Pajemski. It felt more pep talkish than.
No, that one, no.
No.
He was very, very upset on the turnover when he got up in the air and turned it over. You rarely actually see Steve Kerr explode like he did on that turnover. Very, very upset. That's immediately when he got Pat Spencer up. He was not the least bit happy with that play.
Pajemski's been a biggest part of their offense in this 3rd quarter.
Oh yeah, he's been fantastic all night, but that play wasn't good, wasn't well executed.
Spencer up there for the rebound. Another chance here for the Warriors. And Kuminga hits a 3.
The Warriors now with 11 offensive rebounds, 18 second chance points to 0 second chance points for Minnesota. But the way the Warriors have limited second chance points, Minnesota scored on all their first chances.
It's one of those good news, bad news stats. Edwards. Randall offensive board put back.
Well, that's their first points.
Just wanted to clean up the stat sheet for you, Stan.
Absolutely.
Kuminga left wide open. Comes up short. Randall with the rebound. Approaching the 3-minute mark of this 3rd quarter. Wolves trying to put the Warriors away in 5. First elimination game of this series. Here goes Edwards. Step through. Edwards, good. He's got great speed, but he's got a great slowdown game, too, in total control. He's missed his fair share of layups, most of those coming in the first halves of games. He's had back-to-back 30-point games as Kuminga explodes to the basket and lays it in. And timeout, Chris Finch. Minnesota was up 15 at the half. Up 16 here in the 3rd. They can taste it. Trying to go to the Western Conference Finals in consecutive years.
Not not a huge scoring night so far for Anthony Edwards, but he's drawing a lot of attention, and he's using that attention to free up his teammates, making great passes, 9 assists on the night. Every time he draws second defender, he's looking to create for a teammate.
Edwards averaged 4.5 assists per game in the regular season. Bumped that up to 5.2 assists in the playoffs. He's having a breakout night tonight. Dante DiVincenzo getting loose from beyond the arc finally. Biggest lead for Minnesota. They're hungry for more. Wolves up 19, and that's going to be double dribble. Edwards turns it over.
That's his 5th turnover of the night. 16th by Minnesota, coming off back-to-back 21 turnover games. And look, if they hang on and win this, they're going to play either Oklahoma City or Denver, and they will not have the margin for error that they have now to be able to turn the ball over the way they have over these last 3 games.
Under 2 minutes in the third quarter as Kuminga rises up, misses. And there's Randall with a rebound. You just kind of feel the 2 windows here, the symbolic windows of these franchises right now. The Wolves window is wide open.
Going to challenge us.
Wide open right now.
No, they couldn't get him in. He was going to try to sub Pajemski. Didn't get him in, and Anthony Edwards hits a 3.
Edwards with 14, his 4th three-pointer. Heel turns it over and back. And Minnesota with the ball, up 22. Gary Payton II was back in the tunnel.
Riding the bike, I think.
Trying to stay loose.
Yeah.
And they want to get him on the floor. A lot of talk about the Warriors window, coach. Jimmy Butler kind of reopened that window for Golden State, gave them new life, but it does, the visuals here, it does bring into the fact that Stephen Curry, even at his age, is such a game-changing player. That's not new news, but the team that's on the floor now does not look like the team that can make any kind of run at all minus Stephen Curry, and how he changes this team. Had those 4 NBA titles, 6 times in the finals, winning those 4 times. In the first 6 years, they continue to win on the road. They did that earlier in game 1. Mike Dunleavy taking over as the head of basketball operations. And not that they're not capable of a major comeback. It would be a huge surprise, but Golden State, once Curry went out, everything changed.
Well, there's no question. And see just how valuable he is. I mean, with Curry and Butler, 27 and 8, including the play-in and the postseason. Those guys 27 and 8 together, but with Butler and without Curry, 1 and 5 coming into this game. Just an entirely different team. Don't even look like this would be a playoff team without Steph Curry. With him, they're a contender, but where do you go if you're Mike Dunleavy? Because, yes, you've proven those guys can win, but your 3 core guys, Curry, Butler, and Draymond Green, all going to be a year older, as is everybody, I guess. But at their age, it starts to have a 38-year-old Steph Curry next year. First question is, can those 3 guys stay healthy?
Draymond Green will be 36, as will Butler. Hey, don't miss a playoff moment with the NBA app. You can download the app today. Latest scores, highlights, behind-the-scenes access to all the drama. Warriors, they struggled mightily in the first half, changing their roster, changing their rotation, starting lineups, and pulled off the big trade outside of the Luka Doncic trade. That was the significant trade piece that the Warriors got Jimmy Butler in a bitter ending to the Butler-Miami era. And we were all kind of curious to see what it would look like with the Warriors once Butler arrived. And it was even better than I think everybody thought, and you were a fan of that trade to start with.
Well, look, I think when you have a generational player like Steph Curry, you know, who's obviously getting a lot closer to the end of his career than the beginning, you got to give him every opportunity to win, as the Timberwolves can't get the ball in and they get their 17th turnover. But it opened the window, and Jimmy Butler himself came in and saw himself not as Batman, as he said, but as Robin, and it has played out that way. It worked well when he was Robin, but when Batman went out, it's been a struggle.
And it's going to be a foul on Jimmy Butler.
Well, these teams combined averaging over 34 turnovers a game in this series, and that'll be the 30th tonight already. 13 for Golden State, 17 for Minnesota.
8 seconds separating the shot clock and the game clock. Been a big third quarter for Minnesota. Had a 15-point lead at the half. And as Charles Barkley predicted, the Wolves would add to it in a significant way, and they've done just that. They're up 23 right now. Chance at the last shot for Golden State. Down to 2. Kuminga gets it off and scores at the end of the third quarter. But Minnesota will head to the fourth, up 21 points. 12 minutes away from a trip to the conference finals. You're watching the second round presented by Wingstop.
Mike Conley has erupted tonight for series highs with 14 points and 4 made threes. And our Lauren Jabara was able to chat with him just moments ago.
Mike, as a team, you guys are shooting 65.5% against a good defense. How have you been able to break them down on the offensive side the way that you have?
It's been Ant. Ant's dribble penetration. You know, he's drawing 2 guys. He's making the right reads right now. And I think he has 9 or 10 assists. And we get open looks, we should knock him down.
12 minutes now stands between you guys and the Western Conference Finals. How do you close it out?
We just got to stay consistent. You know, we can't celebrate early. You can't lose your minds right now. This team is a championship DNA team. They're going to keep fighting. So hopefully we can close it out.
Mike, appreciate the time.
All right, thank you.
Thanks to Mike Conley, still doing it, 37 years of age. And hit some key three-pointers. Open up this quarter with Minnesota up 21 as Quentin Post starts the fourth quarter with a 3.
Well executed, too. Steve Kerr and his bench like that one. They haven't always loved their execution tonight coming out of timeouts. There they got exactly what they wanted.
They're giving Moses Moody and Quentin Post some run to start this fourth quarter. See if he can catch a flame here. And here's Conley again. Missed it. Post with a rebound. I was kind of hoping he'd make that just for Lauren's sake, you know.
I mean, the players need to understand that.
Don't want to have her wearing a jinx. She would never do that. Moses Moody drives, cut off, but a little turnaround. No, but Guy Santos is there.
Moses Moody, though, just struggling. He averaged 11 points in his first 6 playoff games. He's averaged 1 in the last 5 coming into tonight, and he's now 1 for 18 from the floor in this series.
Inside, Naz Reid. Post is there defending, and Reid able to score that. Quentin Post at 7 feet presents some size, but Naz Reid able to score.
It's just great patience and footwork.
Post again, open for 3. Ooh. Missed it badly. Rattles that backboard. Here comes McDaniels. McDaniels spring-loaded. And Podziemski trying to take a charge. McDaniels turns it over. Podziemski. And now Guy Santos. They're getting some looks. They just can't make the 3-pointers.
And they're making great effort.
As Randall goes in and scores. And Minnesota with a 20-point lead. Moses Moody got it.
Wow.
It's got to feel good for him. Moses Moody started the first 3 games of this postseason, but he's been out of the rotation the last 5. I mean, it was a complete collapse. Basically played off the floor in this series against the Wolves.
Well, it's hard to stay on the floor when you're making no shots, and especially without Steph Curry, you need to find guys who can make some.
Warriors had a hard-fought opening round series win against Houston. Houston was the 2 seed. Warriors went 7 with it. Moody ducks his head and goes in and scores with a foul. So Moody making sure they don't forget.
Well, you don't want to mess around here. Mike Conley said it in his interview with Lauren Jabara. You know, you can't let up and you can't lose your mind. They were up 21 at the quarter, and now it's already been cut to 14 in less than 3 minutes.
Wolves lead at the half was 15. Led by 21 going into this fourth. Here's McDaniel, stops on it down, missed it. And Butler secures. Here come the Warriors. On a run here with this group on the floor. Podziemski gets to his left hand and off the backboard. Timeout, Chris Finch. That was a flurry by this 5 on the floor for Golden State. An 8-0 Warriors run. And Podziemski able to score over Naz Reid.
Warriors have not given up. 8-0 run in 54 seconds. Moses Moody with 6 points in 3 minutes, which matches his total for the previous 5 games. And then Podziemski with a tough finish, which could have been a 3-point play right there. 13-4 to start here in only 3 minutes and 10 seconds of the fourth quarter.
Minnesota had 2 excellent closing quarters, the second and the third, and a miss on the other end. So Golden State playing for their playoff lives, trying to get this back to San Francisco for a Game 6 on Sunday. The 3 days off between Games 5 and 6. And will Curry be able to return if they can get there? And the Warriors turn it over. Post couldn't handle the pass, hit the baseline. And Golden State with a giveaway. That is their 14th turnover.
That was good ball movement, and Quentin Post had sealed inside on Anthony Edwards. A good look by Podziemski, and Quentin Post just didn't handle the pass.
Edwards and Gobert, and now trapped, and that's going to be a foul. That was close. No foul on Golden State. On Post.
Yeah, hit him on the arm as he came, but a good hard trap all the way out at midcourt.
Now Edwards gets into the paint. Edwards able to lay it in. Minnesota needed that one. Podziemski right back on the attack. Post. And he throws it away. No, Jimmy Butler there to save him. Butler kicks it to Podziemski. Driving on Gobert. Inside, outside game. Post can't hit. Santos keeps it alive.
Say, Guy Santos is a relentless effort player.
Oh. Moody misses the layup. Butler was there for the follow. He's fouled. The layup doesn't go. And free throws here for Jimmy Butler.
I can't believe he missed this, but put your other hand on the ball. There's no reason to take that up with just one hand.
Get behind the scenes inside the NBA with Going Inside. It's presented by American Express, premiering after Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. It's good to get those guys some airtime. We don't see much of that inside.
That's exactly right. Exactly
drifting
right.
away in anonymity.
Yeah, I don't think that'll ever happen. No anonymity for those guys.
7.5 to go in regulation here. Warriors on a flurry. Start this fourth quarter. Randall just goes to work, backs down Santos, and that's going to be an offensive foul.
He went right through Guy Santos. The Warriors want him to look at a possible flagrant.
Yeah, Podziemski's calling for that with an elbow above the shoulders on Santos. Wow.
He definitely caught him.
And Steve Kerr is going to have a look at this.
Trigger on the floor, you see the foul meets the criteria for a flagrant foul.
So with the encouragement of Steve Kerr, the officials led by John Goebel will go to the monitor. Ooh, clocked him in the jaw.
Wow. I'll tell you what, though, he stands in there, and the Warriors, regardless of what they say over here, the Warriors get a stop and get the ball back with a chance to get this to 10 or even 9. That probably didn't feel good.
Oh, and the force of that elbow coming in.
I don't see him wind up or look to throw this. I'd hate to see this called a flagrant foul. And I think Guy Santos is into his space. You know, I've talked a lot on college games about the NBA rules that colleges need to adopt. We need to adapt their rule on the cylinder, that if you get into the other person's cylinder of space, the foul is on you, because a lot of times in the NBA,
there's no wind-up or follow-through when the impact occurs on the offensive foul Randall. Therefore, the on-court ruling stays as an offensive foul.
There you go.
Good call by the referees. Would hate to have seen this be a flagrant.
Good call by you. Your 98% success rate on these is still holding in the playoff stand.
That's exactly right. You know, I only count the ones I get right, so I really can be above 98%.
I mean, there were two you just couldn't avoid, but 98 out of 100 is pretty good this year. So it'll be Warriors ball. Minnesota's lead is 12. They had led by 25. And now Moses Moody springs free, and he hits a three-pointer. Steve Kerr has found a little magic with his group on the floor.
Well, again, coming out of that timeout, outstanding execution.
Single-digit lead for Minnesota now. Just as it looked like Golden State was down. Now Anthony Edwards hits a big three-pointer for the Wolves. Pajemski going right back at him.
And we showed you the difference between the first half and the second half with Anthony Edwards, and he's already got 13 in the second half tonight. Another Warriors turnover, and it's right back up to 14.
Costly turnover. McDaniels with another steal. As skilled a defender on the perimeter as there is, got the hand on it, and then gets the bucket himself. And the Warriors got it to 9. Then Anthony Edwards hit a big three.
Anthony Edwards' second halves have been incredible, and then the work of Jaden McDaniels defensively. 3 steals on the night. This guy's been great the entire postseason.
Jaden McDaniels coming off a 13-rebound game in Game 4. That tied a playoff career high. Stuff in their stat sheet here tonight. Moses Moody again, and missed that three-pointer. Gobert secures the rebound. Approaching the halfway mark of this fourth quarter. Randall's got 23, Edwards with 19. And Kumingas takes it away from Edwards.
It's Edwards' 6th turnover on the night.
Moses Moody drives, McDaniels turns him back. Pajemski will try his hand, got that quick release, and he scores with a left hand. Got to a strong hand, and Pajemski with 23 now for Golden State. Moody guarding Edwards. And Edwards turns it over again. Moody gets to the basket, and a foul. Boy, Anthony Edwards so loose with the basketball right now. And he is allowing Golden State to hang around.
Well, he's just messing around with the ball up here. If a guy's going to pressure you, just go by him. Anthony Edwards should just go by him right here and make a play. Quit playing with the ball in front of him. When I worked with Bob McAdoo in Miami, that is a big thing with Bob McAdoo. If you're pressured, go by the guy.
Back at it tomorrow, Thunder Nuggets Game 6 in Denver. ESPN will have it for you at 8:30 Eastern. WNBA tips off Saturday on ABC at 1 and 3 Eastern. Moody hits 1 out of 2.
My daughter will be at that 1 o'clock game. Las Vegas at the Liberty. My daughter and her fiance are Liberty season ticket holders.
That'll be a fun time in Brooklyn. Here is DiVincenzo, air ball. McDaniel saves it. Edwards fires, and back iron gets a long rebound, a third chance. Edwards, no! And we got a whistle on the loose ball foul. And it's going to stay on this side of the floor. It'll be on the Warriors. 3 good looks at it. And Minnesota's going to have another chance here.
Well, Minnesota's still clearly in control of the game, but they can't just get over the hump and put the Warriors away, mainly because they're not taking care of the ball. 20 turnovers or more for the 3rd straight game.
Randall backing down Butler. Fires it to Gobert. Gobert inside, no good, but a foul. Draymond Green encouraging his video team.
He's saying before the foul that Gobert threw an elbow. See if we get a challenge here. They are going to take a timeout and challenge, it looks like.
Wow, Green walking all the way over there to those guys in the pressure cooker over there, trying to determine to challenge this or not. They light the lamp. Timeout on the floor.
The Warriors challenged here because they think Gobert threw an elbow first. I don't think they're going to win this challenge.
After review, Gobert does not extend his arm as he curls in the lane to go up to shoot the basketball. The illegal contact occurs and Green hits Gobert on the arm. Therefore, the foul stands. Challenge is unsuccessful.
Well, they trusted Draymond Green on that one. And no more challenges the rest of the way. So Green emphatic to challenge that call. Walked all the way over to the crew that is responsible for recommending the challenge or not to head coach Steve Kerr. And replay showed otherwise, so Gobert will go to the line. Certainly rather have Gobert at the line than catching it deep with a chance to dunk it.
This is Gobert's 2nd-best offensive game of the playoffs, though. Obviously, he had the huge Game 5 closeout win over the Lakers. 27 points, 24 rebounds. But he's got 15 right now going into this free throw. He's still got 15.
That would look good.
In another closeout opportunity.
From J.J. Abrams and LaToya Morgan, don't miss Duster, the latest must-see crime drama. Stars Josh Holloway and Rachel Hilson. Duster streaming Thursday at 9, exclusively on Max.
Well, so here's the Gobert thing. He's now in the 2 closeout games, scored 39 points. In the other 8 playoff games, he's averaging 5.6.
Warriors turn it over. Podziemski trying to get it back to Green. Here's DiVincenzo. Gobert lays it in. Every time Golden State has an opportunity, they give it away. Minnesota with the lead, up 13. Podziemski, excellent finish. Podziemski now at 25, his best game.
And the Warriors are going to grab Rudy Gobert and send him to the free throw line here.
Rudy.
We've seen the strategy a lot in some of the other series against Steven Adams. We've seen it against Mitchell Robinson in the New York series. Steve Kerr has not used it here until now. Rudy Gobert is a 67% free throw shooter, and he's came into tonight 68%. The problem is they weren't in the penalty, but what Steve Kerr did was get Rudy Gobert off the floor.
Yeah, Chris Finch, he's going to wait till that 2-minute mark, you would think, to bring him back. And so Minnesota trying to add to their lead. Randall goes to the basket. Julius Randall puts Minnesota back up 13. Podziemski drives. Podziemski with no Gobert. That's put back by Butler. Wolves think it was in the cylinder. Might have a case. Jimmy Butler with a big putback. Under 4 minutes to go. Minnesota up 3-1 in this series. Chance to send Golden State home, and McDaniel set up by Anthony Edwards 10 assists for Edwards. McDaniels, the high flyer on the receiving end.
That is a new career playoff high in assists for Anthony Edwards.
Pajemski, bounce pass to Draymond Green, no good. There's Edwards. Randall running the floor. Randall puts it in. Finishing time for Minnesota. Butler moving fast, got to get shots up. Butler is fouled, and free throws coming. The Wolves have had that finishing kick in each of the last 3 quarters. Julius Randle stacking him up again. He's got 27 points.
That was just a great pass. Great look and a great pass by Anthony Edwards.
Chris Finch wants to talk it over between the free throws. 1 left when we come back. 3:12 to go in regulation here. Minnesota in control. Feeling it here at Target Center. We take you back 2004, second round, Game 7, Kings at Wolves. Last time Minnesota won a playoff series at home, Garnett dominated. 32-21 for Kevin Garnett. Look at that final. 83-80 was the final score. As a sign of the times, Stan, the teams attempted 29 three-pointers combined. There have been 66 three-pointers combined here tonight.
And that's not many. I mean, by today's NBA standards, not many at all.
That is what the feeling here at Target Center in Minnesota. A chance to close out at home as Pajemski got the offensive rebound and is fouled.
Chris Finch is just beside himself, wanting them to finish the game stronger, take care of the ball and rebound. Golden State, 24 second chance points, only 2 for Minnesota. You close out games by defending, rebounding, and taking care of the ball. And Chris Finch knows going forward, first they've got to finish this game, but then going forward, they cannot afford to make the mistakes they've been making here.
1 out of 2. McDaniels is fouled by Kuminga. And that'll send him to the other side of the floor for free throws. If you just look at Chris Finch, you'd think his team is down 10, not up 13. But I think, like you said, he's projecting forward the things that are troublesome in his mind that you're not going to be able to get away with.
Well, and I think Chris Finch is just continuing to do what every coach does. He's continuing to coach and teach regardless of the situation. These are basic fundamental things, and you don't want your team losing focus. You've got to build good habits, championship habits.
McDaniels hits them both. The lead is back to 15, which is where it was at the half. Pajemski races down the floor. Kuminga for 3, no good. Moody, offensive rebound. And McDaniels is there for another steal. Gives it right back to him. He was falling out of bounds. Kuminga with a dunk.
It would have been better for McDaniels to either throw the ball long or just step out of bounds.
It does count as the 4th steal of the game for McDaniels.
Also counts as the 21st turnover of the game for Minnesota, leading to 26 points. And Minnesota has to take a timeout because they can't get the ball in bounds.
Minnesota's lead is 13. 2:45 left in the 4th.
A lot of game left. There's a lot of game left. They're not going to stop. They're going to keep playing. They're going to keep chasing every rebound and keep pushing. You got to play, man. You got to play all the way through, all the way to the end.
I love that. It's always been true to a degree, but certainly in today's NBA, it's a 48-minute game. You want to win consistently at the highest levels, you got to play it for 48 minutes, not for 45, but for 48.
Plenty of examples prove that point as Randall drives to the basket, lays it in. Pajemski gets to the paint. He is fouled. Count that. Even after made baskets, Pajemski racing down the floor. He's stacking up a monster game here, doing all he can to keep Golden State in this, and now a chance at a three-point play.
Well, they've gotten some help from Pajemski and from Kuminga, obviously. They haven't been able to have the big game out of Jimmy Butler. They needed everything tonight.
Misses another free throw. 2 out of 5 from the line. Pajemski's got a playoff career-high 28. We're approaching the 2-minute mark. Minnesota leads it by 13. Trying to punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals for the second consecutive season. Steady by Conley, gives it up. Here's Edwards now. Edwards drives and is fouled. And Edwards will go to the line. Warriors running out of time here. Edwards will shoot a pair. Sitting on 19 points. Hey, don't forget, TNT is your new home for Roland Garros. Second Grand Slam of the year. You can watch the stars of tennis descend on Paris, and it starts May 25th on TNT and Max. Got a big crew assembled for that one, and we're looking forward to that.
Led by you, and I can't wait to see you on the coverage of your first tennis major.
Yeah, led is, that's probably not the right word. I'll be there. I'll be there reading the promos. There's the block. Pajemski with Conley on him. Clock ticks. Jimmy Butler wide open for three. Short. Season is running out on the Warriors. Minute 38 to go. Warriors ball. You wonder what's going through the mind of Stephen Curry. Edwards got the block. Warriors with fresh 14 on the clock. Moody stuck in the corner. Moody drives. DiVincenzo called for the foul.
You got to give the Warriors a little bit of credit here. They're fighting here in the fourth quarter, fighting to the end. They just don't have the margin for error to be in a game where you give up 63% shooting and turn the ball over 17 times.
Golden State came out of that hard-fought 7-game series with Houston, but it took a toll, and the biggest toll was to the left hamstring of Stephen Curry, injured in game 1 after the Warriors traveled from Houston, had 1 day between the end of round 1 and the start of round 2. It's going to be a foul on Pajemski. No more challenges for Steve Kerr.
Pajemski here, good defender. I don't know about that.
I'm with you.
I don't know about that at all. I don't see any contact here. He puts a little bit of a hand on him, but boy, we've seen that throughout the playoffs. Tough call.
Conley as steady as it gets at the line. His first free throws of the night. He's now 9 for 10 in the playoffs. He shot it at 90% from the line this year. He is the perfect man for the job with a minute and 27 left.
Well, on his best offensive night of the playoffs, in their first chance to close out at home in 21 years.
Key three-pointers for Conley tonight. He made 4 of them.
Seems like Mike was playing in the league the last time the Wolves closed out a game.
Almost, as Kuminga hits a three-pointer. Ball control for Minnesota. They're starting to feel it here at Target Center. They're waving goodbye to the Golden State Warriors. Minnesota is formidable. Since March 1st, they've been one of the best teams in the NBA. And now they're going to have a day with either Oklahoma City or Denver. Minnesota swept Denver in the regular season. They split with Oklahoma City 2-2. What a moment for this franchise.
And I'm going to take this opportunity with 51 seconds to go. This is your last NBA game for TNT, at least for quite a while. And I just want to say, BA, you've been the best. and the NBA is going to miss you next year.
Yeah, thank you, Stan. It's been a long road. I'll go back to 1992.
And let me direct all the Brian Anderson fans out there, of which there are many, to your Instagram, where you posted today your 3 biggest NBA moments on TNT. One of them involving this Warrior team and Steph Curry. Just a little preview.
Well, it's been an honor to sit by you, Coach. And a lot of those familiar faces and voices that you've seen through the years on TNT will be continuing on with the NBA, including our inside guys. But yeah, it's the end of the line for me here. Been a true honor. And now Minnesota ready for the victory lap. And the Timberwolves are going to advance to their 2nd consecutive conference finals. It'll be their 6th playoff series win, 4 in the last 2 years. And what a series that is going to be. Minnesota lost in 5 to the Mavericks last year in the conference finals. They're going to get another bite at the apple. That's a ball game. Minnesota is moving on. A 121-110 victory in Game 5. And they take out the Golden State Warriors minus Stephen Curry and advance to the conference finals.
Когда вы стоите на моем пути, такая живая, такая красивая, но такая измученная. Говорите все о печальном, думаете о смерти, никого не любите и презираете свою красоту. Что же, разве я обижу вас? О нет, ведь я не насильник, не обманщик и не гордец. Хотя много знаю, слишком много думаю с детства и слишком занят собой. Ведь я сочинитель, человек, называющий все по имени, отнимающий аромату живого цветка. Сколько не говорите о печальном, сколько не размышляйте о концах и началах, все же я смею думать, что вам только 15 лет. И потому я хотел бы, чтобы вы влюбились в простого человека, который любит землю и небо. Идите за мной, покорный, неверной моей рукой. Я, насверкнувшей книги горной, залечу уверенно с тобой. Я пронесу тебя над бездной, ее бездонностью дразня. Твой будет ужас бесполезный, лишь вдохновеньем для меня. Я от дождя эфирной пыли и от кружения охраню всей силой мышц и синью крылья, и вознося не уроню. И на горах сверкание бело, на незапятнанном лугу, божественно прекрасным телом тебя я странно обожгу. Идите за мной, покорный.
It's so cold. Now I'm wondering how I'm gonna get you back. Hey, nothing about to make it right. Jamila ki yafe mun. Na dawo gida ban ga Jamila ba. Na dawo gida ban ji muryanta ba. Hey, wayo, a neman mun Jamila. Jamila, don Allah gida gida, babu abin da zai raba mu har abada. Jamila, zuciya na ɓaciwa. Gida gida, gida gida, gida gida. Ooh, no matter what people do or say, this love will never die. If I knew never hurt you so bad. Drinking so much, too much women in my life. Kwashe mata. Jamila, I'm so sorry. I mean a girl. Inna dagida na gan Jamila na. Inna dagida nji muryan Jamila. Nji abincin Jamila. Wayo.